Muscle fatigue, what is it, and is it different to general fatigue or body aches and cramps? To shed some light on this topic, we've invited into studio homeopathic Dr. Leon Strauss, because I thought it is quite broad, and you told me that it actually is a diagnosable condition. So let's get into it. What exactly is muscle fatigue?
Muscle fatigue is a condition that occurs either acutely or chronically, but essentially it's the loss of force-generating capacity in a muscle.
Okay.
It's a fail-safe. It's at the point where you just cannot go any further. It may be exercise-induced, it may be sedentary lifestyle-induced because you're not used to climbing up a flight of stairs. I'm mostly going to be talking about those kinds of muscle fatigue. In terms of systemic illness, muscle fatigue can be related to problems with gaining energy when needed in metabolic illnesses.
Okay, so it's this umbrella term, but there are a few underneath it. So body aches and cramps would fall underneath it. What else would come underneath general muscle fatigue?
Yeah, general muscle fatigue involves muscles that cannot initiate a movement. There may be twitching involved, there may be cramping throughout the entire muscle.
Okay.
A quick way to feel what muscle fatigue is to go into the gym, do about 80% max on a weight, do a few repetitions, decrease the weight and increase the speed of your repetitions until you get down to 1 bar. And you'll find your muscles fatigue. You're not even able to lift that 1 bar.
Yeah.
I'm going to get onto micro-tearing now,
yes,
which is part of the training. It's part of the way we build stronger muscles and larger muscular cells,
yes,
muscle fibers.
Yeah.
And it's a warning sign that you're leading onto a bigger injury. So micro-tearing is a precursor to muscle fatigue. And if you go into muscle fatigue and lose your stabilizing muscles, the muscles that hold you together in place to initiate a movement, you can overextend or overflex, and ligament injuries, joint injuries happen that much faster in that state.
Anyone that's specifically prone to muscle fatigue or at any stage of their lives?
It is seen more frequently in sedentary people.
Okay.
If you do not use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
If you don't exercise frequently, you're going to go into states of muscle fatigue for very small activity. And because you do not have the strength to hold your body, you're more likely to injure yourself for small movements. I joke with my patients often that as we get older, we tend to get sleep injuries. Getting out of bed too fast, you suddenly put your back out or you hurt your ankle. And that very much has to do with this slow breakdown and weakness of muscle. So we need to fight against it and keep our muscles stronger as we get older. But activity decreases your likelihood of muscle fatigue.
Apart from training and the physical causes of muscle fatigue, what else can lead to it? What other lifestyle factors can lead to muscle fatigue?
Sedentary lifestyle is the major factor.
Sitting is the new smoking, so I can understand.
Absolutely. Not getting the right nutrients in, not getting enough collagen building nutrients in your body, where the fibers do not manage to heal themselves overnight.
What about magnesium, where stress is causing a depletion and deficiencies of magnesium? Is that something that could also...
Absolutely. Magnesium deficiency is widespread. And I do like recommending a magnesium bath, especially after a strenuous session where you feel your muscles are tired and sore. And magnesium is absorbed and helps replenish the muscle contraction immediately.
Is it a full box of Epsom salts? Is it a cup? What is it? Because, you could put a couple of teaspoons and not achieve the effective outcome at the end of the day.
It's definitely more than a couple of teaspoons.
Okay.
You're looking at about, to really get a result where it's absorbed transdermally, you're looking at about 500 grams of Epsom salts for a standard bath.
Okay, fantastic.
So a whole box.
When we come back, that's nice, I like that. And it's not expensive as well. It's a good way to get magnesium in that doesn't take too much out of the pocket. So when we come back, we continue the chat with Dr. Leon Strauss about muscle fatigue and some of the solutions that can be explored to treat it. We'll see you in a short while. If you've just joined us, we've come to the end of the show, but don't worry, there's still some good stuff left for you. We're chatting about muscle fatigue, which is a condition that can affect everyone, but it seems like athletes would obviously be most susceptible to it, although we've just found out that if you live a sedentary lifestyle, you're actually at higher risk. But for athletes that think it's just normal, what are some, besides the Epsom salts bath, some recovery mechanisms or aids for them?
Nutrition is everything.
Yes.
Eating correctly is vital to avoid injury, and moving away from inflammatory type foods.
Yes.
Foods that may increase acidity in the body and decrease your healing time. Sugar is a major factor there. Processed foods, excessive preservatives. The next shortfall with people that injure themselves after repetitive muscle fatigue states are the patients that do not get adequate rest. After a strenuous training session, it can take up to 48 hours to recover completely.
Sleep is your best friend, yeah.
Absolutely, and it's quality of sleep, not just lying in a bed awake all night, which unfortunately is one of our first symptoms of excessive stress. There are supplements that help, collagen builders like vitamin C, collagen itself.
What about amino acids and your glutamine and BCAAs?
BCAAs, absolutely. Proline, which is very high in the collagen products, all help muscle recovery.
So, I mean, you've touched on collagen and how important it is. Are there other food sources that you recommend that are quite high in collagen?
Absolutely. It's more often than not the non-vegetarian sources of food. So your meat, your chicken, your fish especially, safe forms of collagen.
Good bone broth as well.
Absolutely, bone broth, very much so. And then on the vegetarian side, the legumes and the peas and more high fiber foods.
And what else can people do to prevent it, just generally speaking, besides, supplementation, magnesium, salt baths, stretching, yoga, those type of things would obviously help. Is there anything else that springs to mind?
Getting active and remaining active. Exercise is so important, and today we have so little time for exercise. But exercise is not just about strenuous. It's about cardiovascular too. And the two that are most neglected is stretching exercises and balance exercises. Those two particularly help the motors of our body, the muscles, maintain control on a joint space to prevent injury. So if you're going to fatigue the muscles, you're going to lose your proprioception, which is your ability to know where
you are in space
is and prevent injuries from overextension.
Well, in the Real Health Medicine cabinet, we found a product for you that can help with muscle fatigue. It's called Gel. It's actually quite a lovely one. I've used it, so I enjoy using it. I use it after a bath. I don't know if there's a particular time to. That seems like the best time to do any of these de-stressing type of activities.
The Gel is great to use after a bath because it's not sticky. It doesn't leave a residue on the skin. And for the same reason, it's wonderful to use pre and post-workout, and also climbing up a mountain. Just preparing your body to break down the inflammatory reaction that's going to occur.
Okay.
The other very special attribute to this product, it's made from fresh, whole arnica plants, growing on the German and French mountainous regions where it naturally occurs. And that product is processed and ready to put into the gel within 48 hours of picking.
Oh, wow.
Which results in a much higher yield of active ingredients. Most arnica products on the market are dry-based extracts. So I believe there's a very different effect from this whole plant extract. They're also picked when the plants are blossoming.
Okay.
So you get the full effect at the most vital time in the plant's life.
Awesome. So it also helps with minor injuries, bruises as well. What is it about arnica that makes it so amazing for muscle fatigue, for cramps, for bruises?
Arnica has a set of ingredients in it that control inflammatory reactions, and it's also vascular protective. So it's helped circulation into an area as well as modulating the inflammatory response. So we're not switching it off. We're actually helping the inflammation control itself and increase healing time. So modulate inflammation and assisting with circulation to an area. And that's where its most famous prescription-based need is with bruises. It helps clear up an area and remove the debris.
Bring some fresh blood into the area. Who can use this and who can't use it?
Gel is safe for everyone, except the under 1-year-olds who shouldn't have bruises or muscle fatigue anyway. But very much safe for all ages, will not interact with any other medications that the patient may be taking. The only warning is if you have a known allergy to the Compositae family, which includes daisy family, sunflower, artichoke, which is very rare, then obviously you can't take the product, or if you're allergic to any of the ingredients, the gel-based ingredients. There are no colorants, there's no preservatives.
It is quite clean, it is lovely,
Yes.
And where can people get it?
It's available at most health food stores and pharmacies across the country. It was launched in this country last year, so the demand is increasing. But it is readily available.
It's actually nice to travel with. You know, usually when you travel, you do a lot more walking than you're used to doing at home. So for tired legs, you know, for sore calves, it's something that's nice to keep in the bag or, you know, in your backpack as well. So it's a great travel companion as well.
Absolutely, and there's another indication I've come across recently is helping swollen lymph nodes. So helping the circulation in swollen legs where the circulation is compromised.
Yes.
And also with children with tonsil or ear infections.
Oh, okay.
And just always stroking towards the heart wherever you're using it to help the lymphatic drainage in the area.
Yeah.
So you work on the inflammation and you'll help the drainage through the lymph channels in the body.
Thank you so much for joining us in studio. It was great having you on the show.